I have had the hardest time finding a quiet place to record these videos. So at my home, there's cameras everywhere. I stopped at parks and there's people everywhere, every time, which is good. It's good there's so many people. Now I found this quiet little memorial garden at a church. It's so pretty. Don't even know these two people that it's dedicated to. They're probably really amazing to have their own area dedicated to them with a bench, and you can't see it. There's like a cop car behind me. But that's my ego, worrying about what a cop is thinking. I'm not worried about getting into trouble. I'm not doing anything wrong. But being afraid to get on camera is ego. And I love the acronym for ego. It's edging God out. I have a enormous ego. It attempts to get in my way, and I do my best just to ignore it, tell it to shut up, because it keeps me from being of service to other people. And I want to say, what I'm about to say is not for my husband, my family, or my friends. You know, it's really meant to help people out there that are afraid to get on camera, afraid to share your story. You know, it bugs me that when people are afraid to share and they're so private because they're afraid of what people think, it's actually very selfish, you know, because people could learn from you. Being someone that almost died so many times because I had no one to show me how to rightfully live. I was born into this poor family with a poverty mindset that used drugs and alcohol. I was abused as a kid, physically, sexually, emotionally, verbally. I was neglected, and my mom feels awful about that. I love my mom, but she grew up with the same thing, and it's time to stop it. And the only way to stop it is to be transparent and tell your story, how you healed from it. And I'm grateful that someone told their story, gave me the courage to share mine. I'm not here today to share my story. There's other videos that share my story. But I want to encourage you to share yours. You just might help someone live. I was one of those people that wanted to die. And the very first time, I remember I went to a high-level person, their seminar. I always had this stereotype that millionaires didn't care about people. All they cared about was money. I had this stereotypical image. And in 2018, I went to my first seminar from a millionaire author that I was really drawn to on the internet. And he held a breakthrough to success seminar. Actually, no, the first one was a one day. And I remember it was $500 for the day. And to me, back then, that was a massive amount of money. I was like, oh my God, $500 just to sit and listen to this person and have a VIP lunch with them. One Day to Greatness, that's what it was called. Jack Canfield, one of the best. I love him, but he really, really was the first person, and there's many more that I wasn't aware of. He was the first millionaire that I got to meet in person that was transparent about his story. He's not a recovering alcoholic like me. He doesn't go to the same tribe as I do. He has a totally different lifestyle, makes millions of dollars, sold millions of books. And for him to share his story with me, that he was simply just a little boy from Wyland, West Virginia, and he shared stories of his own abuse as a kid. You know, when his dog was killed as a kid, and just stories that really touched me. He was transparent about it. He wasn't meant to be a millionaire. He wasn't raised by millionaires. He wasn't taught any of it. And he had to pull himself up by his own bootstraps, and had to tap into the power above too, and learn how to love himself and other people. He had the worst hand dealt to him when he was a child. And as many of us have, and it's no excuse. So it's no excuse at all. You're not responsible for what happened to you, but you're responsible for what happens from now on. I just got out of my noon sober tribe today. I was thinking, wow, if people with time, like myself, I consider I have 19 plus years of sobriety. If people with time did not show up, there's quite a few others that show up too, then there'd be no one to help the ones just coming in. There'd be no one to help me when I'm having a bad day. There's people there with more time than me, thank God. And I love my tribe because there's always someone doing better than you and someone doing worse than you, and we all help each other. And there's no judgment, not supposed to be. We have a set of principles. We live by principles in my tribe. That's why it has the best vibe. It's who you are, not what you do. I was so proud today. One of my ladies that I get to coach today, she had a relapse and is feeling horrible about herself and is embarrassed and of course didn't want to come. You know what? But she said okay, and she showed up and she raised her hand and she was honest, and I was so proud of her for being an honest person today. It's not what you do, it's who you are. Even though she only has a few days, today she's an honest, brave, courageous, beautiful person. She's being a person of good character. It's not quantity of years sober, it's your quality. Who are you when no one's looking? I see people in there that talk the talk and they don't walk the walk. Some do, some don't. Some will, some won't. It's not for me to judge. My only job, your only job, is to be helpful. Whatever that means, whatever God puts on your heart to be helpful, that's your only job, to be helpful each day to others. Best way. There's a car coming, it's throwing me off. Ego. Fear of what people think is ego. So drinking affects your thinking. I know it's supposed to be, there's this thing that's supposed to be anonymous, but if people didn't tell me that they were sober, they live a life without drinking, I wouldn't have considered it either. I wouldn't have known that it's the problem. You might not even think it's the problem. Alcohol is just a symptom. So if you're not living your best life, if you don't feel fulfilled like 150% to the core, that means there's more in store. There's something else for you to ask that you're missing. Gotta really be honest to find it. I hope that sheds some love and light today. I gotta get on with my day. I have dogs waiting for me. I'm pet sitting this gorgeous Australian Shepherd today. Every day I'm free now. Free from my life of mediocrity that I used to live. I get up every day just to give. So what do you love doing? There's a way to monetize what you love doing. Just find the need and feel it. And if you want help, then reach out to me.